and welcome to Geraldine's Academy. In this video I'm going to show you how to draw up this centre block. It is a little bit tricky, and that's why I felt it would be best to draw this together. I'm going to draw it on paper and suggest that you watch the video a couple of times and read through your notes. Okay, now to get drawing. Okay, now in your notes it will tell you to cut a 32-inch square. This will be cut down to 30-inch once the embroidery is finished and all the quilting is done. So you do have a little bit of room there for the quilting to shrink the centre panel in. So first of all, I have drawn my horizontals and my vertical, my diagonals, my verticals and my horizontals, what I'm trying to say. And from here now I'm going to draw some 1-inch lines each side of that vertical, and I'll just turn the paper around and do the same on the other one. These lines now that I'm drawing, you can use a ribbon foot and sew ribbon down each side of this line. And one more. Be careful if you're using one of these 6.5-inch rulers. There is an extra 1/2 inch on one side. That's why I'm turning it around as I go. Okay, so there are our lines. Now we are going to have an embroidered section right here in the centre, so we need to set up that area. I'm using one of these. It comes in some CD packs, or you could use an old CD. So what I'm going to do is place the CD so that it's on this horizontal line and the edge is on the vertical line at the same time. And I'm just going to draw from the 1-inch line I've drawn where the ribbon is going to go. I'm going to draw an arc. I'm going to do the same in the other quarter. And then I'm going to fill in this section by placing the CD on the outside of those circles to just give me a nice continuous shape. I'll just turn the paper around and do the other side. So again, place the CD on the first lines you drew, the absolute centre of your vertical. And then use the outside curve to get a nice continuous line. There you have your centre of your centre square. You will have received 2 designs. One is called a heart, and I've printed a picture of this design. I have the center point here as I've printed it through my software, and one of these is going to go in each corner. So one will be placed that way. So you will place it on the diagonal line from this line 1.5 inches to the center of the design. So you will place one in each corner of that center panel we've just drawn. The second design is this one. So we now need to draw the placement lines for this, which I've called the outer petals. As part of your design download, you will have received as a Word document something that looks like this. When you print it on a sheet of A4, I've cut around the line. So to get our placement for our outside petals now, so place this template so the curve is on where you place the CD. This is on our straight line here that we drew, and just mark around to the diagonal line. Then flip the paper, line up the center again and come back. So those meet. I'm going to continue to do that around the square, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so that's our outer petal section of the center block. This design now, which you will have received as a download, is what is placed in each of these petals. So there's 2 per quarter, so you're going to stitch out 8 designs. So place them so that the satin stitch top is towards the outside of the square. Okay. On the center part, once you have sewn out your heart designs, we are going to do cross hatching, so 1-inch lines in both directions, and then if you would like, you can put pearls or beads in the center of each of the cross hatch sections. These lines here that were the 1 inch apart are where I have stitched ribbon on each of those lines. So if I just place the ribbon along there, you will be able to see. The ribbon only comes to that center part where the little heart designs are, out to the edge. Once you've sewn your ribbon, you will then use a decorative stitch. I chose a heart stitch that I have built in on my machine and stitched around over the top of the ribbon. A nice dense satin stitch then will hide the edge of your ribbon once you've